Hey, yo, everyone, hey, what's up? Hey, welcome to Gold League. You made it. You're a gold player. Congratulations. We're gonna now start doing things that are gonna make you a platinum player. Okay? We're gonna get you prepared for the next step. And how are we gonna do that, you might ask? Well, we're gonna max out a little bit faster by another about 10 seconds. So we're gonna have to be macroing a little bit more on point now. And on top of that, we're also going to start scouting a little bit more in detail, and we're going to start talking about in every matchup proper placement of your buildings and also proper placement of your overlords. So overlord scouting is going to be more of a thing now. We're going to start actually reading our opponent's builds a little bit more as to what we see, like giving ourselves the opportunity to do that.
We require more minerals.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take our natural. Let's go for it. So random probe sitting there. Overlord placement for the natural now is going to be at my natural. We're going to follow this probe. Is he going to cannon rush me is the question. Proper overlord placement. First overlord is still going across the map. We're still making drones in the meantime. Second overlord is watching this fucking probe if he cannons. We're still not going to micro this. If he does cannon, we're still not going to micro this. We're going to let him commit to it and see if he does cannon for real. Are you going to do it for real, or are you trying to get me to cancel my hatchery? Oh, he's doing it for real, all right. Okay, so cancel the hatchery. Let's grab another drone. Let's cancel the hatchery. And let's run away. He wants to cannon rush. Now, let's go ahead and send my overlord down to my other drone that's building another base.
The hive cluster is under attack.
So how all in are we going to be here? How all in are we going to be here, dude? Let's go ahead and take one of my gases.
We must place that on a Vespine. The hive.
He's going to be very all in. He's not even expanding. Okay, so this is a one base all in essentially. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna just try your best to not freak out. Okay, try your best to not freak out. Do not panic. Don't panic. Here's what I recommend you do: make a second control group for your hatcheries that are not next to your main hatchery. So we have 5 and 6 now. For me, you can make whatever you want. Okay. We're gonna take another gas. Make a queen. And use 6. So now we're gonna be doing 6 SD. 6 SD. 5 is gonna be make overlord. And it's only gonna make drones when I use them. For instance, if I make a roach warren, I will make a drone. Otherwise, it makes overlords.
We require more.
Because I'm going to have 2 queens injecting 2 bases with drones on the outside. I cannot transfer drones out of my base anymore. It's impossible. It will not work. So this guy's going for a 1 base immortal all-in. This guy is literally doing a fucking Masters Plus build. I don't know if he'll execute it like a Masters Plus player, but he is doing a Masters Plus build. This is like pro build. But don't panic, guys, because guess what? He's going to invest all of his shit into the front of my base. So check this out. Let's prepare something, okay? Let's prepare for the fact, let's know in our heads, our main base is going to die. Okay? Main base is going to die. We know this. So here's how we can get around this. Check this out. Check out how cool this is. Let's make a spire at my new base. Away from my main. Let's start metabolic boost on my pool in my main. Let's inject my hatcheries. Let's keep making drones at my outer bases. Do not make drones in my main. And let's go ahead and make 2 drop lords. Which is why we put the overlords over here. And make a couple overlords in my main. Now my drones are dying. Actually, not really. He's killing my my hatchery. It's fine still so far. Let's get ready to take another base. Inject my hatcheries. Inject my hatcheries. Okay, now he's killing my drones. Okay, now let's get out of here. Run over to the overlords. We'll take this base first as well, because that's what we were doing. Run to the overlords. Right-click both of them. Get inside. Fly away. Let him commit to this. Just fucking let him have it. Kill that base. I don't give a shit. Let's start a new spawning pool over here at this Spire base. Let's also start new gases at my expansions.
We require more minerals.
Saturate my bases as well if we can.
Under attack. They hide.
And now let's start making Mutalisks. And now we can rebind 6 to 5, and now we just have 2 new bases.
Require more Vespine
Cool shit, right? And now let's also start making Zerglings.
are under attack.
As soon as my spawning pool is done again, because my spawning pool just died. So we just prepared for the future. We did not prepare for now, we prepared for the future of this game.
We require more Vespine gas.
Okay, let's make 3 more drones for this base. Let's make 2 more drones for this base. But because this guy has immortals and is probably going to continue all-inning me, let's make a little bit of army first. This is like now the difference of the roaches we make in the other games. Now we're making a little bit of Mutalisk Zergling, unfortunately, because of what this guy's doing. This is a unique example. Let's right-click that prism. Just right-click that prism. And now let's go back to droning. Drone count sucks still. Make a queen for this base. Keep injecting my bases. Don't freak out, guys. Let's take another base while we're at it. Keep making drones. Just gonna leave my army defensive. I don't care right now about attacking him. It's not a big deal. This is like the very rare example where I will tell you not to go roaches. And the reason why is because immortals are like about the most OP shit against. You know, actually, to make this really easy, we secured ourselves now. We just secured ourselves. I'll just do this. We just secured ourselves with Mutalisk Zergling. Let's go back into Hydras now. Just make it easy. I don't want you to micro Zergling Muta. We just did it in case he all-ined our base further. I do not want you microing Mutalisk Zergling. It's so fucking not good for you to be doing that right now. So we're literally letting it sit there. Put it in one control group. Let it just sit here. It's fine. It means Immortals cannot attack my base anymore. And we're just expanding around his cannon rush. And we're at 61 drones, now 70. We're almost at that good, juicy saturation. Get weapons and carapace for range. Keep making drones. Let's go ahead and throw down a couple tumors as well with our queens. Let's make a Hydra Den. And we got 6 drones over. Let's go ahead and send them over here, and let's take, oh, sure, send them there, actually. What are we doing? Send them over here, and now make it more drones to go up to like 80 plus. We're at 82. We're good. No more drones. If this base dies, I don't give a fuck, guys. Doesn't matter. Because we're making Hydras now. We're doing this off of an economy that is absurdly high compared to our opponent right now. Make Hydras. And look, he actually went Phoenix, so this works out. Let's make spores. 1 spore per base because he went Phoenix. 1 spore per base. 1 spore per base. Take my gas. Every spore has been started. Let's go back to making drones for a second so we can fix what's dying. Okay, let's A-move this base. Just come over here and push him away. A-move that base. Okay, we'll just kill his proxy now because it's there. Inject. Inject. Make a queen. It died. Creep. Creep. And drones again. They're 84. Perfect. And I know my bases are everywhere, but it doesn't matter. You shouldn't freak out when you see your bases like this. Like, it doesn't matter. As long as you don't panic, it doesn't matter. Just look at your saturations and be like, okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Look at his probe count. Look at my drone count. Look at the supply of this game. This supply is, like, at the pace that we're going at, this supply is going to ramp up to a point to where we are going to max out, and this Protoss is going to be at, like, 80 supply. Seriously. That's kind of how it's going. So, although we got cannon rushed, we just kind of, like, let it happen. We didn't care. We just were like, ah, fuck it. What's a good way to get around dealing with this? Like, we could have pulled our drones. We could have microed it. We could have done many things. We could have made Ravagers, but that all requires lots of micro. In Gold League, I feel like non-committal is still your best bet. I think honestly, I will actually start defending cannon rushes in Platinum League. But in Gold League still, I'm going to rewind this and show you guys the supply. While he's cannon rushing me, just look at the supply. Look how ridiculous this is. Look at the worker count and look at the supply while he cannon rushes. So we leave an Overlord here. This is important. This Overlord is huge. Tells me everything. Tells me he's actually making cannons. Because my hatchery could not see that otherwise. The hatchery's vision, when you build a hatchery right there, its vision is about this big. It would not be able to see the cannons. So I can see everything with the Overlord. And then as soon as I have to cancel the hatchery, I rotate the Overlord over to my next hatchery. Overlord placement is huge. This way I can tell if he pylons me and cannon rushes the next base. Look at the supply. Look at the mineral count, or the drone count. And this is also after we've already taken some pretty substantial losses. So that's the end of the cannon rush right there. We've lost 10 things, and in total it has accumulated to 1,450 resources. He has only lost 37 resources, and I can tell you what that is. That is a canceled building. I don't know which building he canceled. I think it's a gateway. It has to be a 150 resource building. Something that I think it was a gateway, or it's either a gateway or a core got canceled. One of those two, probably a gateway. Was it the core? It's 150 mineral building. That is what got canceled. It doesn't matter. Moving on. We've taken a lot of losses, but let's look at the overall standing of the game. We're talking about that mountain example I keep always giving you guys. Income tab. We're mining pretty nicely. We're mining quite a juicy amount of resources over him. In total, we're mining a lot more. And we also we're still on 2 bases. Going to be soon on a 3rd base versus a Protoss who is, you know, he's on 1 base essentially with no probes on his natural. This is like perfect timing for us to like take our 3rd base. This example was really unique. This is someone copying a pro build. This is a pro build right here, which is what he's doing. But we mitigated it by going like this. And this is, again, against Protoss, this is the only time, if you're anyone between bronze, silver, gold, I would actually say it's okay if you make mutas in this one instance. If somebody goes proxy immortals on 1 base against you, I actually think it's okay for you to skip roaches and go mutas. That's the only time I'll ever say that. Because if I try to go macro roaches against proxy immortals, I will die. It is impossible to win. So if you don't want to do what I did here, and you want to lose, and if you just die instead doing my normal opener, where I'm like, okay, just make drones and roaches, boys, and he kills you, just know that when you play against someone who plays like this, it's really fucking rare. The amount of times you'll play Protoss as you play this way is not common. It's rare. Very, very rare. So if you die to it, I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's not something I would stress out about because you'll play against it once every 50 games. Or maybe never. This is a pro build. This is like he didn't execute it like a pro, but it is a pro build. Just throwing that out there. It's very, very particular. But yeah, again, the rule still applies though. Make drones. Just make fucking drones, boys. We're Gold League. We make drones, boys. Habits. Priorities. Make them drones. And now look at the development of workers. We lost. We had to cancel our natural and we lost our entire main base. And we're still ahead by triple the worker count almost. Yo, Cynic is me. Thank you very much for the sub, dude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's it. That's all she wrote. That game was a particular one, and I would say rewatch that again if you want to. If that ever happens to you, you can watch this specific game again. You can literally even download the replay because I post my replay packs on my Discord. That would be Zerg Gold 3 Game 1 is what it would be. Watch it. Do it again yourself. I literally, all I did was I still took the layer timing as I normally do, but instead of making an Evo Chamber and a Roach Warren, I instead made Drop Lords. I evacuated drones and made a Spire. And then I went back into Hydras. I just skipped Roaches. And then as soon as we went back into Hydras, it was the same build as it was before. And that was particular because there's no way you don't die if you just go Roaches with a Cannon Rush Immortal. In that kind of a situation, when he's one base proxying you with a prism. You don't win with Roaches there. You just die. Making a layer would be a good, at your natural would be a good way to improve the build. That's not true. Because if I would have waited until my natural was done to make the layer, I would not have had Drop Lords in time to evacuate my drones out of my main when my drones were dying. Drop Lords require a layer to make. Alright, so we're going to go back into the same builds as before. Standard shit. Making drones again, guys. Don't forget, make drones. SD, 5SD, 5SD. 5SD, boys. Five SD, boy. Now let's go ahead and take a gas. We're at 20 supply. Rally to my natural because we're fully saturated on the main. Keep 5SDing that shit. Hatcheries will give me more supply when they finish. 6 extra supply will be added to my total. There we go. And there we go. We can make an Overlord now and 5SD. This way we have a couple of drones extra on the mineral line when we get there. So now we scouted double gates. Double gateways. And no nexus. So what are we going to do against this? We're going to make a spine crawler. Because this is aggressive. We don't have to scout in any further because I'm just going to let you guys know right now, this is all of his production right now. Except for one thing, okay? This is basic scouting, but let me just tell you right now. I will give you one reason why we should actually scout further into his base. These gateways are not building anything. You can tell because this crystal gets all fluorescent-y. It lights up when shit builds in it. So if we see nothing building and he opened 2 gateways, let's go into his base and find out what the fuck is going on. Because now this is making me think it's like DTs. Or some weird shit. Now, see, now they're building. Now, see how they're lit up and all crazy? That's a building gateway. There is some tech in his main. Some tech has been made in his main base that is happening. Let's go ahead and make our Roach Warren as soon as we can. And then we'll scout his base again with our Overlord in just a second. Get a couple gases. Another Overlord. Let's look at his main. What do you got? Okay, he's got nothing. So he built a proxy. Oh no, just kidding. There's the pylon right there. Are these more gates? Okay, fine. Now let's send another Overlord right now to the left side, and then shift click it down to the back of his natural. That way, eventually, we're going to get back to his base if the game continues, and we'll see if he is or is not going to expand. Let's go ahead and start. We'll start our third over here then, since he wants to build a block on it, and we'll start making roaches. We're fully saturated on 2 bases when my drones finish. So we're going to make an Evo chamber for upgrades. We have roach speed started, and we're making roaches. This game is going to fall exactly into the realm of where I tell you guys, even if you're being 1 base all in, you can still have enough time to make roaches after you have 2 base saturation off of a spine, and you'll be fine. This dude is not expanded. He is 4-gating me with a chrono boosted core, and I guarantee I will still not die because we are not going to miss injects, and we will be fine as long as we don't supply block as well, right? Inject, inject. Let's make overseer too, just in case. Always recommend someone makes an overseer. If you scout someone, so now we're paying more attention to scouting. If you scout someone is doing some weird shit like this where they're 1-basing you, just make an overseer for 2 reasons. One reason is because we can also right-click the main base right now, and we're good. And exactly this, we can be like, oh look, fucking DTs. All my drones are dying. We'll make new drones, and let's go kill these DTs. People who 1-base DT quite often. Just keep making drones. Inject my bases. Inject my bases. Make a creep tumor. Make a creep tumor. Make a creep tumor. Go back to my army. What's going on? Look at my drone count. We're already back to 41. We recovered pretty fast because we made drones during the time drones were dying. So let's go ahead and get spore spine now. We can rotate this spine back to the mineral line. And now we have spore spine crawler against someone who just went 1-base DTs. Remember how I said it's weird that he's not making units? It's because he proxied a dark shrine somewhere. It's always make a overseer when you play against someone who 1-bases like this. It's too weird otherwise. Okay, now let's start saturating our 3rd base. We still have enough roaches. We don't need to make more than this. We have enough roaches to deal with any other garbage he'll do, and we're still making drones again. I would only remake roaches if my initial roaches were being killed as I made them. If I was like, God damn, but he keeps attacking me with crazy shit and I keep dying, then yeah, sure, I would remake them. But otherwise, we're still making drones. Okay, so my 3rd base is getting well saturated. Let's go ahead and make some spine spore, gas, and a queen. Go ahead and spread my creep some more. And inject my bases if I haven't done so already. Right now, they're ready again. Inject, inject. And we can make a Hydra Den. A 2nd Evo. And we're good. And now let's have our roaches go kill this pylon so I can expand there, because we want to take another base. I think also people should not get OCD about always expanding in the same location. Just take a base if it's available, like how I did here. If you get in the habit of not giving a fuck about things, like in terms of things that stress you out in this game, you can react to so many different types of cheeses and be cool as a cucumber about it. So now we have upgrades going. We just injected all our bases. 1 level 2 weapons, level 1 carapace, and Hydra upgrades are started. Now let's give ourselves a moment to spread my creep. Creep spread. Creep spread. Creep spread. Creep spread. And now let's also take another base. What's my mineral lines look like? This one needs 1 more on the gas. This base. Perfect. This base. 2 off. Put it on the new base. Rally over to it. Make drones. We're at 78 now. Almost at optimal saturation, guys. And I'm just going to say right now is a great time to let's make another overseer. Grab my current overseer and shift click like here first, and then go in through his main base. This is going to be a follow-up scout timer when we're about to start getting ready to make units. We're going to make Hydras no matter what, but this is a great time that you're going to develop timings for yourself to be like, okay, I don't know exactly what he's doing. I need to figure that out. My guess would be Void Rays. Honestly, I would say Void Rays is probably what I think he's doing, but we don't really know, and we want to figure that out. Okay, let's... Prism's back. Send my roaches up there, deal with it. Let's go ahead and make another base and static D. Drone count's at 80. Let's go ahead and make a few more. Okay, drone. And let's pay attention to our scout really fast. What's he doing? Stalker Immortal. We can drop a changeling in his base even. A bunch of them. Shit changelings out. Hug his units. Okay, he's going for Stalker or Mortal, guys. Cool. Now we know his build. Does he have a third? If he doesn't have a third, we're fighting a Protoss player that has like 35 probes then. Or like 40 probes. Because his main is also mining out. So they're not efficient even if he has them. Okay, so inject. 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 Make Hydras. Look at my money, it's too high. Make a macro hatch. Let's go ahead and take a couple drones off the mineral line, throw them over here. Grab the macro hatch, add into the hotkey, everything goes over there. Good stuff. Make Hydras. 2-2, or actually, not 2-2. We can start level 2 Carapace, and we can get ready to go to Hive. Keep spreading creep. Oops, I broke my own rule. I'll stop spreading creep right now. I literally just broke my own rule right there. We'll do creep again in a second. Make Hydras. Inject my bases. And spread my drones out optimally. Make Spore Spine. Look at my drone count. 82. We're still going to be good when these Spore Spines start. We're good. Now let's spread some creep. One side to the other. Always. When you become a pro gamer, you can do it however you want. But for now, when you're learning it, one side to the other. Fan it. Don't do stagnated, random creep everywhere. Just go bottom to top or top to bottom. Left to right or right to left, depending on how you're spreading it. Like how the map is designed. And then when you're with your queen, you can just throw down a bunch of new tumors afterwards. But then once again, next time you spread it, one side to the other. Okay, he's doing another attack again. Let's go ahead and A-move my dudes to my main base. Get rid of that garbage. We lost some drones to this, so let's go ahead and fix that. And let's go ahead and also A-move his base, shift A-move, shift A-move, shift A-move. Now, let's do this. You know why I'm going to do this? Because that's like the 5th time this guy has attacked me with a Warp Prism. So it makes sense. Let's just make some static D. Because this guy is going to keep doing that over and over and over. We can also increase our static D at our other bases because this guy loves to counterattack, it seems like. We also have this massive lead right now, so this is going to guarantee we maintain a lead and probably don't die to any random timings or any random garbage that'll throw at me. Four drones there. And we'll make like 4 spines over here too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now right click the mineral line. We're down drones. Make a bunch of drones. We just made 12 drones. Now let's inject my bases. It would be injecting my bases once again and then spreading creep. While my army just does whatever it wants to do. Nice. GG. GG. But this guy was definitely a Warp Prism boy. He's all about harassing. Let's check this out now. Check out the, so this is once again what you would call a micro player. There are a lot of micro players in low leagues. We've played many of them in a row now in all of my races I've played. But look at this once again. These guys are not following priorities correctly, I would say. Watch the supply and watch the worker count. And we're going to lose drones again this game. And there you go. See? These gateways are not making shit, guys. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you guys in on a secret right now. Protoss players will always open up with double gas. It's standard for Protosses to do that. This is Zerg 101 to understand Protoss, okay? No Protoss player is going to go one gas and then expand and then call it a day. That's just not how Protoss works. And the reason why that is, this is why that is. Get ready for me to blow your fucking mind. Terran does not have Chrono Boost. Zerg has a form of Chrono Boost in the form of a queen, but queens do not finish until way later. Queens do not activate until like fucking a full minute and a half after Chrono Boost can be used. So what this means is the initial 22 workers will always be hit faster by Protoss than every other race. Because most Protosses will Chrono Boost their Nexus the second their first pylon is done. So every Protoss will have 2 gases early. I'm not saying you have to go 2 gases before you expand. I am saying every Protoss will have 2 gases no matter what within the first couple minutes of the game. Otherwise, you're going to have like 19 out of 16 probes on your mineral line. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. That's what I'm saying. Chrono Boost creates too many probes too fast to not have double gas. That is how this race works. Okay? That is how Protoss works. So, with that being said, if you have a Protoss who you know is going to have double gas, who does not build anything out of his gateways when the core is done, where is his gas going? He can easily have 100 gas when the core is done. Easily. And if you want to talk about what 100 gas costs, 100 gas is the cost of a Twilight Council. It is the cost of a Robo. It is almost the cost of a Stargate. And let's go ahead and look at this really fast and back it up really fast. Just look at the core, okay? Watch the gas timing. And some Protosses who prioritize the gas, like this dude has, because he is sacrificing mineral income with 12 out of 16 to have 6 out of 6 on the gases. Okay? So he's prioritizing gas over minerals. A lot of Protosses will leave 16 on and fill up the gases as time goes on, so that they can do things like expand faster. But with the way this guy is doing this, he is going to have over 200 gas by the time this core is finished. So that means he could literally throw down a Council and a Robo at the same time if he really wanted to. So check it out. We'll go right to when the core is done. It finished literally just now. Look at his gas. He's got 268. 268 is more than enough to build every tech structure in the entire game that is available to him right now. He could build a Stargate if he wanted to. He could build which is 150, a Robo, which is 100, or he could build a Twilight Council, which is 100. He could fill up both of these gateways and get Warp Gate. So he could make 2 Adepts. He could make 2 Stalkers. He could make 2 Sentries. 2 Adepts is 50 gas. 2 Stalkers is 100 gas. 2 Sentries is 200 gas. And Warp Gate is 50 gas. He could literally utilize every building here if he wanted to, with the amount of gas that this fucking guy has. However, I'm paying attention to these gateways and I see nothing being made out of them because we're scouting. So that tells you, okay, what's going on? This guy's building some other tech. And then here's what it is too. Here's another way to break this down in your brain. This is how to start logically analyzing how to scout somebody. Not only did this guy go 2 gateways before expanding, he literally walled his base off. This is a fucking wall. That is connected to the wall. The core is connected to the gateway. The other gateway is connected to the other gateway. And the final gateway is connected to the rocks. I cannot run a worker in, nor can he run a worker out. Which means he doesn't give a shit about what is in his base. Or about what's, he doesn't give a shit about ground units is what I'm trying to say. He locks me out of his base. He locks himself into his base. This is very common for 2 builds. 1 is a Stargate. 2 is a Dark Templar build. That's what is common. And then as soon as we scout further into his base, and he's obviously going for his DT shit up here. Goes for Council and a Robo. Once we scout further into his base, because we talk about the gateway's lack of building, and he throws 2 more gateways down. As soon as we see 2 more gateways, this confirms it is not a Stargate. And in fact, it is very likely going to be DTs. Why the hell would you make 4 gateways on 1 base and then go Stargate? Because here's the thing, okay? Here's where I'm going to, once again, hopefully catch people that freak out about shit like this. So a player who has no idea how StarCraft works will go, 4 gates? He could still go Stargate. You could still die to Oracles or Void Rays. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if this guy's 1 basing me, and he makes 4 gateways, let's pretend that this is a proxied Stargate. I could still have an Oracle or whatever show up to my base. I could grab my queens and put them together and kill the Stargate unit of whatever it is. And whatever losses of drones that I take, I could rebuild drones as I take those losses. And I could make spores. And I could zone out any future Stargate unit from that point on. And I would still be ahead of him in workers. No problem. Easy. Because he's investing way too much wasted resources to do something like a Stargate. Now, if he goes 4 gateways, it makes more sense if he goes DTs, because he actually gets to utilize Warp Gate out of these gateways to make DTs. So if I make Roaches and Overseer, Roaches are what we make all the time anyways, But now if I just add in an overseer because this dude is one basing for so long, it makes sense. And finally, this is something we'll talk about more, okay? This is the final point which we did not talk about this game, but I'll throw it out there. When we get to Platinum League, I'll probably start talking about this more. But if you look at the gases right now, and you go, okay, 1982. Okay, 1882. Just to throw this out there, a gas starts with 2250. You can click on his gas because of that. If you look at the intro video we have in Bronze GM, I told you guys, enable enemy unit selection. It is so much information and so much scouting, and it's so fucking useful. This is one reason why. We can click his gas and we can add the amount of gas he has and go, okay, well, this guy has mined 300 gas off of his main assimilator here in a couple seconds, and he has mined 400 gas off of his other assimilator. 300 plus 400 is 700 gas. What the fuck is this guy doing with 700 gas? And if you know what units cost for Protoss, you can figure out, okay, there's some bullshit going on. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, numbers. A stalker. He attacks me with 2 stalkers. This is 100 gas. We have 700 gas that is unaccounted for. That's only 100. And he's still mining off of 2 gases, which means he is still mining 300-ish gas a minute. So a minute from now, it's going to be 1,000. So if we think about it like this, Warp Gate, 50. Robo, 100. Templar Archives, 100. Dark Shrine, 150. 4 DTs, 500. There's a lot of our missing gas right there. And here's another thing too. Check this out. Here's the final piece. Or just kidding. It doesn't matter. The gateway wasn't done. For some reason I thought the gateways were done because he wasn't making units again. But yeah. There's lots of scouting to be had here. If there's lots of intricate deep diving, delving ways to figure out what's going on. And now we'll just kind of like let it play out where it's like, you know, this game we went as simple as he didn't expand. He didn't make units out of his gateways, yet he opened 2 gates and walled in. Let's make roaches and an overseer, and we'll just go back to making a 3rd like we did before and making drones again. Look at the workers that he kills. Okay. He kills 19 drones, guys. I just lost 19 fucking drones because I didn't pull my mineral line. Because in Gold League, I don't think you still should be pulling your mineral line. I think there's so much shit going on. Telling someone to pull the mineral line is probably also going to be overwhelming. Because what we're doing now, I think I'm going to probably overwhelm your brain when you're learning StarCraft just talking about this simple scouting stuff. Just talking about scouting is going to probably work your brain pretty hard. You're going to be like, wait, what's going on? And all I want you to know is forget everything I said already. For scouting, just know this. No natural, good. You know that. No units being produced out of gateway. Okay. And he opened up double gateway, which is weird because he didn't expand. And he's also not making units out of double gateway. That's even more weird. That is something you should know by the time now you're in Gold League. This is too much for a expansion to be. This is aggressive. 1 gate expand is macro. 2 gates or more before expanding is aggressive. Not making units out of 2 gateways is weird. He's doing an aggressive build, but not making units to be aggressive with. So, scouting into his base further would not be a bad idea. And then also knowing that the fact that he's not making units means that there is a high chance he's teching to something. And by making the Overseer, we ruled out dying to DTs. So even though we lost 19 drones as well, because our roaches were sitting here, not in the main, and by that time it took our roaches to go back from the natural into the main, all these drones died. Even though we lost 19 drones, we're still ahead. We are still ahead. By quite a bit. And it's going to keep climbing even faster because this guy is still 1 base, essentially. He's about to be 2 base. Look at the worker count. This is what happens when you just get micro players. Again, Gold League is the same as Silver League and Bronze League in terms of how people micro. They just don't fucking macro that much when they micro. And now look at the worker count. It's almost double again. Look at the economy. Look at the supply. We're going to ramp up super fast. And again, the last thing I really want to stress to you guys as well, this is something that's very important that I feel like so many people get caught up on and don't understand. Making 10 roaches, 8 to 10 roaches early on after you have 2 base saturation is totally fine. That is very standard. But for the love of God, don't keep making roaches unless your opponent is actually attacking you. And when I say he's attacking you, I mean he's killing your roaches. Like if you're like, oh shit, I'm losing roaches. I'm down to 4. Oh shit, I'm down to 3. Make roaches. It's fine. You can, as long as he keeps killing your roaches, you can keep making roaches. But if your opponent is doing shit like this, where he's like diving a spine crawler and losing his zealots, or he's just not attacking you at all, stop fucking making roaches. So many times I see people they get into the stage where they're like, okay, and this is when ViBE said make roaches. And they make like 40 of them or like 30. And I'm like, holy shit, that's way too many. Like you don't need to make roaches for this long because you're not even getting attacked. Instead, if you just made drones, even if, here's the crazy part about it, even if you got caught with your pants down and you're like, ah, shit, he just killed my base here because I made drones and he just killed my drones. If you start making roaches when your opponent is committed to an attack, you can still defend the attack while losing these drones. And because you made so many of them, you can still end up ahead in drones. Does that make sense? But ViBE, you said a move with roaches. Welcome to the new Bronze GM, Dr. Pibb. That was last year. This is the new one. Okay? You're talking about shit from a year ago. So yeah, like you can make drones and even if they die, even if I lose 19 fucking drones, 20 drones at this point, I'm still doubling his worker count at 84 to 44. It's okay to make drones and lose them as long as you're making drones. You know what I mean? You gotta make drones, boys. Gotta make them drones, boys. Make them drones. Make that money. And look at the supply, 70 to 200. This is what happens when you get someone who's too aggressive and not macro-oriented enough. Death. Good shit. Hopefully you guys like that. Yo, Rosewood, thank you.
Hey ViBE, do you think I should make drones?
You should. You should. Everyone's so afraid of making drones and dying when you really should just make drones and it'll teach you how to overwhelm like this. Like this feels great. It feels great being able to do this. This is exactly how games, in my opinion, will always go. Like if anyone ever asked the question, hey ViBE, how many times do you think a Gold League player could beat you in a 1v1? If the player is genuinely Gold League, 0. 0 ever. Because the Gold League player doesn't understand how to honestly make drones. And that means I win every game. Seriously. It's as simple as that. If you don't have an efficient build, your builds don't make any sense then. Like they can't actually compete with higher level builds. So just really up here, developing that habit of making your workers and getting to that optimal saturation as quick as you can. That's also that's your priority, and it's a habit you should learn, among other things we've talked about as well. But that is the biggest one of all. That teaches you how to be efficient. We'll definitely give you more actual builds as time goes on, like timings and things like this. But for now, just understanding how to do raw macro, it's important. But yeah, guys, I hope this, I hope you found this informative. I hope you found it insightful. Hope you liked it. The game where I had to make mutas, just know that if you don't end up doing that yourself, throw that game away. It's not a big deal. Part of me honestly thinks I should have just lost that game a little bit, because I don't think what I did was very hard, but the only reason why I think maybe I should have lost that game is because I don't want you guys to make mutas. And making mutas is really the only way you come out of that situation not in a horrible spot. That comes later. That comes like in Diamond. But what you could do as well is you could try making a roach, doing the build, making a roach warren, evacuating your drones the way we evacuated the drones, and then going from there. That would also maybe have worked, but probably not. If you die on that one, I would say not. Don't worry about it. Anyways, I'm running on here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you liked it. I'll see you guys in Gold 2 for another one. Have a good night. Have a good day. Or I'll see you in a minute. Peace, guys.